If you hear the smoke detector or fire alarm go off, you should dash. Valid point. Leave the building quickly is true. What happens when you put water in a kitchen pan with oil on fire? Nice work. You chose a massive fire erupts, and it is correct.
What was Romy's reason for not staying at Prem's house overnight?
Great thinking. He had to take care of his sick father is the right choice. Who should you call if you smell smoke or see fire in your house? On track, 9 Lowen is the correct answer. Which extinguisher will be used to extinguish Class B-type fire? You got it. Your choice foam type is right. Where is the best place to put a fire extinguisher in your home? Nicely done. In the kitchen, where people can see it is a solid answer. After pulling the pin, aim the nozzle of the fire extinguisher. Bravo! At the base of the fire is the answer. What type of fire extinguishers you can use on electrical fire? Correct. DCP is the right answer. Which class extinguisher must be used for an electrical fire? Perfect. Class C is the correct choice. What is the primary purpose of a fire blanket in fire safety? Well done. To smother small fires is the right choice. How many elements of fire must be removed to put a fire out? Sharp thinking. 1 is the right choice. What happens when you take out a part of the fire triangle? All. Smart pick. It goes out is the correct choice. Which is the correct sequence for using a fire extinguisher? Right again. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep is a valid answer. What number do you dial in an emergency, like a house fire? Nice selection. 9 Lowen is the correct and valid answer. What color do water safety staff wear so you can see them? Correct response. Yellow is the most accurate answer. Who is responsible for carrying out fire risk assessments? Great job. Responsible person is the accurate answer. In the event of a fire in your home, always have and dash. Solid response. Escape plan is a valid choice. What is the initial stage of a fire where the fire starts? Right choice. Ignition is the best answer. Which of the following would be burning in a type fire? Strong choice. Sawdust is the right answer. What is the max distance you can have a fire extinguisher? You're right. 100 feet is the correct answer. How many different types of fire extinguishers are there? Well picked. 3 is the correct answer. A fire extinguisher should be taken out of service when? Excellent choice. All of the beside is the right answer. What is the 3 things when come together can start a fire? Well reasoned. Heat, fuel, oxygen is the correct choice. In the event of a fire, which acronym should we remember? You chose REACT and PASS, and it is correct. With the PASS method, what does the second S stand for? Good thinking. Sweep side to side is the right answer. What to do upon hearing per announcement for evacuation? Good job. Your answer assemble at FCC works well here. Which of the following is a cause of fire in buildings? Smart move. Overloading of circuits is an accurate answer.
One of the most effective ways to fight a small fire is...
Exactly. A fire extinguisher makes sense and it is right choice. What is the main component required for fire to occur? Excellent. Oxygen is a brilliant choice. Which of the following below are not fire hazards? Clear logic. Your choice, taking a shower, is sound and 100% true. How many types of fire extinguisher in our property? You're right. 4 is the correct answer.
What's the first thing you do in the case of a fire?
Solid response, run. Get out of the house is a valid choice. The smoke alarm will make a loud sound when there is. Great job. Smoke is the accurate answer. Which of the following is not a component of fire? Well picked. Light is the correct answer. If I were to see a place on fire, what would I do? Correct. Call the fire department is the right answer. Who are the people who keep us safe during a fire? You got it. Your choice, firefighters, is right. What component of fire is removed by using water? Sharp thinking. Heat is the right choice. What happens first during a fire drill at school? Nice work. You chose the school fire alarm goes off, and it is correct. In the event of a fire, what should you never do? Nicely done. Take an elevator to the nearest exit is a solid answer. At OMS, where do you report to in case of a fire? Strong choice. Track is the right answer. What should you do if your clothes catch on fire? Exactly. Stop, drop, and roll makes sense, and it is right choice. When the smoke alarm sounds, what should you do? Good thinking. Get out from your house is the right answer. Where is Hotel FCC located? Well done. Basement 1 is the right choice. Bonus, there are X classes of fire extinguishers. Excellent choice. 5 is the right answer. Should every building have a fire extinguisher? You chose yes, and it is correct. Fire extinguishers are either X, Y, or Z based. Great thinking. Water, carbon dioxide, or dry chemical is the right choice. How many fire exits are there in this property? Perfect. 2 is the correct choice. What color do the firefighters normally wear? Valid point. Yellow is true. When putting out a fire, you are to move dash. Bravo. Forward as you are putting out the fire is the answer. If you catch on fire, you are supposed to dash. On track, stop, drop, and roll is the correct answer. What number do you call when there is a fire? Smart pick. 911 is the correct choice. Which should you not do if you catch on fire? Clear logic. Your choice, run, is sound and 100% true. The 3 elements of the fire triangle are... Correct response. Oxygen, fuel, and a heat source is the most accurate answer. What to do if your clothing catches on fire? Right choice. Stop, drop, and roll is the best answer.
the correct way to extinguish a fire to aim. Smart move. At the base is an accurate answer. If your clothing catches on fire, you should. Right again. Stop, drop, and roll while covering your face is a valid answer. When should you make a fire evacuation plan? Well reasoned. Before there is a fire is the correct choice. What kind of dog is considered a fire dog? Nice selection. A Dalmatian is the correct and valid answer. Which of the following is an type fire? Good job. Your answer paper works well here. Which is dangerous and could cause a fire? Excellent. All of these is a brilliant choice. The three elements that creates a fire are: bravo, oxygen, heat, fuel is the answer. What should you do after escaping a fire? You got it. Your choice, stay outside, is right. The three sides to the fire triangle are: right choice. Heat, fuel, oxygen is the best answer. How do you escape a smoky, burning house? Nice work. You chose stay low and go, and it is correct. Which of the following can cause a fire? Nicely done. Matches is a solid answer. What three things does a fire need to burn? Smart pick. All of these answers is the correct choice. How often should fire alarms be tested? Correct. Once a month is the right answer. If you use a torch, what should you do? Right again. All of the above is a valid answer. If fire touches you, what do you do? Solid response. Stop, drop, and roll is a valid choice. What does the P in pass stand for? Sharp thinking. Pull the pin is the right choice. What is not needed to start a fire? Great thinking. Carbon dioxide is the right choice. What is the title of the book? Perfect. Fire safety is the correct choice. At the muster point, you should. You chose all of the above, and it is correct. What does a smoke detector do? Clear logic. Your choice, it sounds an alarm if it senses smoke is sound and 100% true. When in a fire, what do you do? Great job. Stop, drop, and roll is the accurate answer. Which one is a Class B fire? Excellent. Gasoline is a brilliant choice. Where would a fire occur? Correct response. Anywhere is the most accurate answer. Class C fires include. Good job. Your answer, electrical equipment, works well here. Which happens first? Well reasoned. Moby sees smoke coming from a tree is the correct choice. What is this tool? Well picked. Sprinkler system is the correct answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format? Well done. Contact Narayan Chengder is the right choice.